This is Nicholas Forrest from the Art Market blog, which can be found at artmarketblog.com, and this is my November 2008 Art Market Review. As I'm sure you're all aware, the major November art auctions held by Sotheby's, Christie's and Phillips Dupuy were seemingly not particularly successful, but considering that the estimates that were put on the works in these auctions were set probably at least 6 months ago at the height of the art market boom, the results were really not all that bad when you have a bit of a closer look at them. Now it's evident that quality is still being sought by buyers, with the highest quality works still reaching prices that would have been considered good at the height of the art market boom. But buyers are now having to justify their purchases far more because of, obviously, of the financial crisis, and they're having to ask themselves the question: well, if I don't purchase this particular work at this particular time, what is the likelihood that a similar work will come up for sale sometime in the near future? Now, if it's a particularly rare work of extremely high quality, a work from a particular artist who didn't produce many works, a work from an artist's a particular period where they didn't produce that many works, things that make it particularly desirable or rare, not necessarily overall, but within an artist's oeuvre, means that these particular works may not come up again for auction for a long period of time. If they don't sell, they may just go back into the seller's collection. So these sort of works, the top works that have some sort of rare quality to them, are still achieving excellent prices. Now, the other interesting thing is that contemporary art is still seeing particularly strong results. Now, there has been a drop in prices for a lot of the works, but considering that contemporary art is the kind of the riskiest area of the art market, the prices have been particularly strong, and the drop is not being anywhere near as big as people would have thought. So, I think what this shows is that there is still quite a bit of confidence in works by contemporary artists and the contemporary art market, which I think is a good reflection, not just on contemporary art market, but on the art market as a whole. People are still willing to take a bit of a risk and still have confidence in the future value and future prices of works by contemporary artists, which I think is extremely good. So, although things may look particularly bad on the surface, when you look at the prices being paid now compared to, say, 5 or 10 years ago, they're still particularly good, and prices have not dropped, I think, anywhere near as much as people would have thought, or for considering that the financial crisis at the moment. So when you look into things, there are quite a few positives to be looked at in the market. People are actually focusing more on the works of art and the artists, and whereabouts the value in those works is, as opposed to just spending money and just paying prices. Value is becoming much more important, which is good, because it means that the top works and the best works and the best artists are identified, and basically the market becomes much more stable again. And it also means that a lot of the speculators who have driven the prices up and caused the inflated prices have been kind of pushed out of the market, meaning that market's beginning to stabilize again. Prices are beginning to become far more realistic and far more justifiable, which is a good thing for the long term, because it's much better for prices. I suppose it's better that things correct now than maybe experience a larger correction further on down the track. So all in all, the correction being experienced is a good thing. So overall, things are looking pretty good. even though on the surface the prices being paid may seem low, it is, we need to look at things relative to the situation and relative to what's been happening in the last few years. So I'm still very optimistic, and I think that the correction is a great thing. I think the real test of what's been happening will be kind of beginning of next year, once people's finances, financial situation is much clearer, once they've digested what has happened during these major November art auctions. So I'll be looking forward to beginning of next year to seeing what happens with prices for art. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next art market review.